Hello everyone, welcome back to Atreyu Crochet. So in today's video I will be making the hat to accompany the scarf. Posted a video for the scarf not too long ago, and I know you guys are into your sets, so yeah, I'm going to be making the hat today. So you're going to need a pair of scissors, you're going to need a darning weaving tapestry needle. I'm going to use the same size crochet hook that I used for the scarf, which was size 7mm, that is US, okay? And then here's the leftover yarn that I had from making the scarf, so I'm going to use the same yarn. Alright, let's get to it. So we're going to start out with the slip knot, so take your yarn, wrap it around your finger, twist exchange. Now we're going to wrap this around your finger. We're going to pull this one over that one and off your finger while lifting up on the one that's still on your finger. We're going to insert the size 7mm US hook into the opening, and we're going to pull to tighten. Now we are going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Going back to that first chain right there, we're going to make 15 double crochets into that first chain. As you know, when making a double crochet, you always start out by yarning over first. So yarn over, go all the way back to that first chain, and you can get 1 loop or you can get 2. I like 2. Now yarn over, pull through to the front. That will give you 3 loops, 1, 2, 3. Okay? Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Alright, that's 1 of 15. We have 14 more to make. Yarn over, go back into that same first chain. Yarn over, pull through to the front. 3 loops. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over, go back into that same first chain, yarn over, pull through to the front. And this tail, you can just move it to the back out of the way. You have your 3 loops, 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Okay? So continue putting double crochets into that same first chain. I've made 3, so I have 12 more to go, and I will meet you once I get all 15 double crochets made. See you there. So we made our way back around. I've crocheted my 15 double crochets. I have this chain 3 at the beginning that was created by working in the 4th chain from the hook, which was aka the first chain that I crocheted, right, out of that chain 4. So that left that chain 3 right there, and then I made my first double crochet. So I crocheted 1 and then on around up to 15 double crochets. This chain 3 will not count as a stitch, okay? It was just to get me up to the height of this round. This round has 15 stitches. It has 15 double crochets. Once again, not including that chain 3. So now I'm going to bypass the chain 3. I'm going to slice the icing off the top of the cake of that first double crochet, like that. I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to slip stitch by pulling all the way through. Okay? Now I am going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Once again to get me to the height of round 2. And round 2 will now have a total of 30 stitches because I'm going to put 2 double crochets in every double crochet below. Okay? So right in the same place where I just slip stitched, that's where I'm going to put my 2 double crochets. Okay? However, to get that pattern going, I am only going to work into the back loops of these stitches. So that's where I slip stitch. I'm going to yarn over because I'm making a double crochet. And so this is where I slip stitch. This is the top of the stitch right there. I'm only going to work in that back loop right there. Okay? So yarn over, go into the back loop like that. Yarn over, pull through to the front, 3 loops. Yarn over, go through 2. Yarn over, go through 2. Do it again. Yarn over, re-enter that back loop only. Yarn over, pull through to the front. Yarn over, go through 2. Yarn over, go through 2. Okay? And so now this double crochet has those 2 double crochet in it, and they're only in that back loop. This, remember, right here is the front loop, that's the back loop. I only want to crochet into the back loops. Okay. Alright, the next stitch, which is right here, remember I'm going to put 2 stitches in every stitch, 2 double crochets in every stitch. However, I'm only going to work in that back loop, so that's where I'm going to enter, right there. Okay, so I'll show you one more time. Yarn over, enter the back loop like that, and make a double crochet, 1. Alright, and then do it again, same place, back loop only. Alright, the next one is right there, put 2 in there, 1, and then back in there to that back loop for 2. Okay, so every stitch around will get 2 stitches, which is why the 15 stitches in round 1 will become 30 stitches in round 2 once you've completed it. I'll see you there. So I've made my way around. You see, by working in the back loops only, it's created this nice little ridge, which is what we want. That will help it to match the scarf. Alright, so now we're back around to that chain 3. We're going to bypass the chain 3, slip stitch into the first actual double crochet, which is there, into the entire stitch, yarn over, pull all the way through, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're beginning round 2. Alright, so the pattern for this round, instead of it just being 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, right, 2 stitches in every stitch below, it's going to be 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Okay, so in that same place where I slip stitch, which is there's the top of the stitch, I'm still only working in the back loop. Okay, so I'm going to put 2 double crochet in that back loop there. Okay, so yarn over, because it's a double crochet, work in the back loop only, and put 2 double crochet, so back in there, and then in the next stitch, which is there, I'm only going to put 1 double crochet, because remember the pattern is 2, 1. Okay, so there's my 2, and then it's my 1. The next stitch, which is there, gets the 2, but remember I'm still only working in the back loop. 1, back in there for 2. Next stitch gets 1, but still only in the back loop. One more time. Next stitch 2, back loop only, back in there for 2. Next stitch, working in the back loop only, 1, right there. Okay? Continue in that fashion, and I will meet you once we get back around there. See you there. So I just completed round 3, which should have a total of 45 stitches. Now it's time to start round 4. I'm going to bypass that chain 3, slip stitch into the top of the first actual double crochet, which is there, yarn over, and pull all the way through. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, to get me up to the height of round 4. As always, I'm going to work into the same place where I slip stitch, which is there. However, I'm only going to work into the back loop. Okay, the pattern for round 4 will be 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. So this first stitch, I'm going to have to put 2 double crochets, but only in that back loop. So yarn over, go into the back loop, and put 2 double crochets, 1, back in there for 2. Now the next stitch gets 1 in the back loop, and the next stitch right there gets 1 in the back loop. Now the pattern repeats. The next stitch gets 2 in the back loop, 1 back in there for 2, and the next stitch gets 1 in the back loop only, and the next stitch gets 1 in the back loop only. Remember, by working in the back loops, we leave this ridge. Okay, that's really cool. Alright, continue working your 2, 1, 1 pattern, and I will meet you there. See you soon. So I am at a diameter where I don't need to do any more increase rounds, and this actually is bigger than what I need, but I want this hat to be a little bit of a slouchy hat. So just in case you're wondering, the diameter is about 7 inches. Okay, and that's just a little bit under 18 centimeters. If you need to make it bigger, then feel free to continue with the pattern. So right now I'm up to 60 stitches. The pattern for the next round, round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, would be 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. So a 2 and then 3 ones, okay? If you don't need the diameter to be this big, you know, maybe you're working with a smaller head, which means you have a smaller crown that you should be fitting this over, then you could have stopped at the previous round. Okay, it's all going to depend on you and the size of the head that you're making the hat for. All right, let's continue. So at this point, I'm done with my increase rounds. So I am going to bypass the chain 3 as always and slip stitch into the first actual double crochet, which is there. Alright, yarn over and pull all the way through. Alright, so now I am going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now I'm just going to put 1 double crochet into the back loop of every stitch around. So yarn over, remember, don't forget that first double crochet that we just slip stitched into. So I yarned over, but I'm only still working in the back loop. So right there, get in there, and I'll make my double crochet. Next one, back loop, 1 double crochet. Next one, back loop, 1 double crochet. Okay, and once again it leaves that ridge. Continue working in that fashion and I will meet you around here. See you there. So I made it back around. It's starting to curve as it should because I'm no longer making increase rounds. Alright, bypass this first chain 3, slip stitch into the actual double crochet like that. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And just repeat what you just did. Put 1 double crochet in the back loop of every stitch. So I'm working in that same first stitch where I slip stitch, but I'm just putting my double crochet in the back loop. Next stitch, back loop. Next stitch, back loop. Alright, continue in that fashion and I will meet you there. So I've made it back around. I'm going to bypass that chain 3, slip stitch into the first actual double crochet there, yarn over, pull all the way through. Now this time I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to put 1 half double crochet into every stitch, into the back loop of every stitch around. So I'm making a slightly smaller stitch for this round. Yarn over, go into the same place, almost the same place where I slip stitch, except I'm only going into that back loop there, right? Yarn over, pull to the front, 3 loops, yarn over, go through everything. That's how you make a half double crochet. Next stitch, yarn over, like you're making the double crochet. Go into the back loop of the next stitch, yarn over, pull through to the front. Gives you 3 loops, just like a double crochet. But now what makes this different than the double crochet is that after you yarn over, instead of going through 2 and yarning over and going through the remaining 2, when you yarn over, you go through everything. Yarn over, next stitch, back loop, yarn over, pull through to the front, 3 loops, yarn over, go through everything. Next stitch, yarn over, go into the back loop, yarn over, pull through to the front, 3 loops, yarn over, go through everything. Continue making 1 half double crochet in every stitch around, the back loop of every stitch around, leaving that nice ridge, and I'll see you there. So I have now made it back around. I'll skip the chain 2 now and slip stitch into the first half double crochet, which is there. Just go into the top, yarn over, pull through to the front, all the way through. Alright, now chain 1, dropping down to an even smaller stitch, which is the single crochet. Still working in the back loops, and you guys know that with the single crochet you don't yarn over first, so just enter the stitch in the same place where I slip stitch, but I'm just working in that back loop, right? Yarn over, pull through to the front. 1 single crochet in every back loop of the stitch, okay? I don't know if that made sense. 1 single crochet in the back loop of every stitch around. That sounds a little bit better, okay? Because it leaves a ridge. So this is how I'm going to finish out my hat. I'm going to do as many rounds of single crochet as I think I need to get it, you know, to the depth that I want this. But yeah, notice the ridges that I created by working in the back loops. That's what we'll cause it to match the scarf. Alright, so see you in a bit. So I'm almost done. I'm going to do 1 more round of single crochet, but I wanted to pop back on and show you something because I know it can be tough, right? Trying to start a new round when you're working with rounds of single crochet. So here we have that chain 1, right? That's the chain 1. This is the top of the first actual single crochet we made, and that's where we're going to go in to slip stitch. So let's go in there, slice the icing off the top of the cake or the top of the single crochet, yarn over and pull all the way through. Now remember, that's also going to be the top of the stitch that we make our first single crochet in for this round. But we're still only working in the back loop, which is there. Okay, so after we chain 1 to get ourselves to the height of this current round, you want to pull back a little bit to make sure you're exposing the top of the stitch first and foremost, okay? But then also that back loop, because you don't want to miss this first stitch. If you do, then you're going to accidentally decrease, and you're not trying to do that. Okay, so now that I've chained 1 and I've exposed the top of the stitch, I'm going to put a single crochet into the back loop. So remember, with single crochet, you don't yarn over, you just enter, yarn over 2 loops, yarn over, go through 2, and then you go on your merry way, working in the back loop, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch around. Okay, so I just wanted to show that because it can get a little difficult to see where to go, especially when the stitches are getting smaller. You're working with fewer chains. You're working with chain 1 versus earlier when we were working with chain 3. So just want to show that. I'm going to continue around and I'll meet you there. So I'm almost back around. I just want to get on and point out to not miss this last single crochet. You can see the little body there, right? Okay, so don't miss going into the back loop of that final one, putting your final single crochet there. Alright, here's that chain 1, which is lying kind of flat there. So now I'm just going to slip stitch into the first single crochet of the round. I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to cut my yarn and fasten off. Now I'm going to turn this around, go into a nearby stitch, like a loop of a stitch, and then yarn over, pull through, and then chain 1. This will cause my tail to tend towards the inside, and then I can cut this down. Okay, so this is what you guys will have. Okay, it's very beautiful, very easy hat to make. It'll take you an hour or less. Okay, I still have this much yarn left over and don't forget, I also made the scarf out of the same skein. So yeah, you should only need 1 skein, but I think this is absolutely beautiful. Let me grab the scarf just to show you that it matches. Alright, so here's the scarf to accompany the hat, and yeah, I think they look like quite a pair. Wouldn't you say? Quite a pair, quite a pair. Okay, alright you guys, that is going to be it for this video, but you know, I'll see you in the next one. In the meantime, happy crocheting. Let me do one more thing for those of you who have stuck around. I'm sure some of you will be wondering how deep this hat is, so let's measure it and see. From the top, okay, down here it's about 7.5 inches deep. Okay, 7.5, that's 19 centimeters. Okay, so if you're wondering, just out of curiosity, how deep my hat is that I made, that's what it is. And also, I did several rows or rounds of single crochet. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I also did about 7 rounds of single crochet. So if that helps you figure out what you want to do for your cap, then have at it.